Hello and welcome. My name's Pene. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete, and today I'm going to be talking about using my stash. If you've watched before, you'll know that that's my challenge, if you like. I don't want to buy anything new, and I want to use the wool that I have, some of which is here. I've finished something for my great-grandson, George, and I've been with my daughter and my granddaughter, and he tried it on. So I've taken a little film of that for you to see the finished article, an Aran jumper. And I'm going to read you, carry on reading my story. We're up to 1958, 59. And I was 10. Was I? 49. Well, yes, I was 9. I was 9 coming up for 10 in the August. Anyway, let's start at the beginning with the stash. So I want to use my stash. Why wouldn't I? I've got some beautiful wool, but you see, the thing is, it's so much easier to see a pattern and think, oh, I'll go and get some wool that suits that pattern. As turning that on its head, it's about having the wool and then finding the pattern that suits the wool, and then will I have enough? So we're playing yarn chicken right from the word go. Let me give you for instance, I haven't got myself turned up that end of the craft table. You're sitting on the craft table at the minute because the light's all wrong up there. I'm sitting by my big window and it's warm and sunny. You'd never think it was October. So in my bag here, which I made a long, long time ago, but it's keeping this particular wool. I bought it some time ago at a show in London, and it's exquisite. It's baby alpaca. It's 4-ply, 80% baby alpaca, 20% silk. Well, you can't get nicer than that, can you? I mean, even if people say they're allergic to alpaca, that is just like the softest wool. It's beautiful. And I decided that I didn't want this greeny colour anymore. And I didn't want to knit this 4-ply. It's nice for a shawl and that, but I didn't want to knit a 4-ply jumper, cardigan. I've got quite a few. Well, people that know me know I've got more than a few. So what to do with the stash? I bought a jumper's worth or cardigan's worth of wool when I bought it. So I should have enough. But I decided to, let me put that there. I decided to buy this. Debbie Bliss Rialto lace. So this is a lace, very, very fine, if you can see that, but a beautiful blue. Well, blue-green, isn't it? And I'm going to put the two together, and I think on screen it looks, it's just going to brighten that. It's just going to lighten this. And also it's going to make it, you know, not 4-ply, but thicker. And so I've decided the pattern I'm going to knit. I'll show you the pattern. And it's in this Rowan book. Magazine number 72. And I've got a lot of cardigans. I've got a lot of jumpers. But what I haven't got is any V-necks. And I've noticed that they're quite popular now. And I'll show you a picture. It's not that good a picture because she's got her blouse over it. Can you see that? They do it in a round neck. There's another picture of the V-neck. I liked it. I thought that would just go over. I've got lots of blouses. I thought that would just be nice. They knit it in Kid Silk Haze double. Well, I thought I'd risk it because Kid Silk Haze is like a lace. So it should really be two lace, but I'm going to do it in this. I shall, do a swatch and see what happens. And I think you can see how this is going to brighten this now. And I'm quite excited to use my stash. Whereas this has been sitting on the shelf for a couple of years now. So it's time it moved on with a friend. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm wearing, if you want to see, so it comes down at the front, up at the back. So comfortable, Aran. And if I want to keep myself warm and I want to be cozy, this is what I pop on. I've got another one in green. That's from this book, Shetland Tweed Croft. And the pattern is Merida Parker. They do it with a hood, but I don't like the hood. So I did knit one with a hood and took it off. So that's it, Merida Parker. Easy to knit because it's Aran and it's just got this cable up the front. So that's what I'm going to be starting using the stash. And I did have in stash some white Falkland Aran. Well, I had Falkland Aran in blue and a mustard, which I've shown you. I knitted for my great-granddaughter Mila in the blue. I knitted Tommy, my great-grandson, in mustard. And now for George, I've just knitted it in the cream. But that's what it is, the Falkland Aran. I've been away for a few days and we came back last night. So I thought I'd pop on this morning and just have a chat with you about what I'm going to be doing next. And now I'm going to put up a little film of George with his Aran little sweater I knitted him. I'll show you the sweater and then I'm round with my daughter and he loves Mila's quilt as you go quilt that I showed you in previous episodes. He loved it. He spotted Olaf in it and was very happy. And then when he woke up, we tried the jumper on him and it fitted nicely. So my daughter is there, and as is my granddaughter, George's mum. So I hope you enjoy that bit of film. And so I finished the jumper. It's rather nice. I'm very pleased with it. Can you see how drapey that wool is? How beautifully soft. And this is for little George, my great-grandson.
One, two, three. Good boy. Woo!
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Night-night.
Nana.
Night-night. What is it? Who's that? That's right, it is Olaf. Olaf. Let's put it on.
Where's your other hand? Where is it? Where's it gone? Where is it?
I think.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
2, 3. I saw you.
Oh no, you've lost that one too. George, gently.
I hope you enjoyed that film of George. It was so lovely to spend time with him. Mila was at school, so we missed seeing her, but I'm hoping to go up half term, which is the coming week, and see her. That size I knitted was a size 1 to 2, and George was one February the 6th. So yeah, it's a good. It comes up as it's supposed to, I think, although he's quite a big boy. I'll put the name of the pattern here because I haven't got a paper copy to show you. I've just got it downloaded. It's a Sirdar pattern, but it knits up very beautifully and doesn't take much time at all. In fact, I've knitted it since I saw you last. So now, well, I'm going to put up my story. I recorded that before I went away because I knew when I came back Chinwag would be due out today and I wouldn't really have that much space to do it. And so I recorded the story at the beginning of the week. It's, yeah, I think I tell you on it, it's 1959, 58, 59. So I hope you enjoy that. And after the story, well, I went round the garden and I wanted to take some photos of what flowers are out in the garden still on I think it's the 18th of October. We're getting along now, aren't we? And there's still quite a nice bit of colour in the garden. So if you like a bit of colour and like to relax looking at some flowers, that is a short film, and then a film of our walk last week into town and back. Some of them were windy days. I think we had a windy day. Other days were glorious. It's been a beautiful October here. And we went away, as I say, last week. Well, we came back yesterday. So we've been away this week to Sussex. And we had 2 days like summer. We didn't need coats. We didn't really need cardigans. I'll tell you more about that next time I see you. It's now 1959. And back at school, it was my turn to use the classroom on the ground floor. And it felt different, special. I'd been aiming for this all my school life. I started school aged 5 in 1954, and I'm realising as writing that 2 years in one class must have happened. Anyway, this was the top class of my junior school at last, and Mrs. Hall was my teacher. She was also the headmistress and lived at the house, which had the 4 classrooms. This classroom had a coal fire with a huge guard around it, on which was placed the crate of small milk bottles delivered every day to be drunk in break. I couldn't abide warm milk, and so I had a small bottle of fresh orange juice, which was very tangy and had a blue top. I've since found out I have an intolerance to the protein in milk, and so having the orange juice did me a big favour. Next to the fire was an organ with pedals on it, which Mrs. Hall accompanied us during our morning singing, very much in the style of Rock of Ages. I enjoyed my lessons, particularly the acting and shows we put on in the small playground. The only thing I hated was when we were asked questions as a class and asked to comment on something in front of the others. I hated being put on the spot. and was afraid I'd get the answer wrong and be ridiculed. One day, Mrs. Hall asked us why we thought cats had rough tongues. I thought to myself, perhaps it's so they can clean themselves. However, I was too scared to venture an answer, and we were all chastised for not having a guess. She eventually told us, and I thought to myself, I knew that, but it was too late. I thought myself a coward. However, writing this, I think the rest of the class was too. After all, they didn't answer up. Maybe it was the way we were being taught. I've stopped blaming myself. Hooray! Only took 65 years to realise. I was 10 then, and I belonged to the London Club. 5 of us would get together on a Saturday and go up to London and see the sights. We'd come back and write up our experiences. We brought to class a Radio Times or other such magazine and would paste plain paper over each page. Then we'd write up our adventures, stick in the postcards we'd bought, and our own homemade scrapbooks were fashioned. We also did a project on the Queen's coronation, which had taken place a few years before, in 1953. I loved sticking the photos in and marvelled at her beautiful dress. Dad had bought me a green Osmoroid fountain pen with a small lever on the side to suck up the ink. I used this to write in my books, but was very upset when I lost it when walking home through the park. During break time, we'd play doctors and nurses or schools, and I remember doctors and nurses being a favourite. Owen, a boy in my class, bought me a bar of soap at Christmas, and I remember feeling truly amazed and puzzled that he'd bought it for me, that he'd thought of me. Why me? It puzzled me for years. It never crossed my mind to buy him anything, and I felt embarrassed, but secretly thrilled. One day a reporter from the local newspaper called and asked for a girl and boy to have their photograph taken for the local paper. I was chosen along with a boy called Philip Cohen. We went into the garden of the local almshouses, and standing under a cherry tree in full bloom, we were told to put our arms around each other. We did this, and the caption was, "In spring, a young man's fancy turns to ... When Mum bought the paper, I felt very proud to see myself with Philip, but didn't understand the headline. What did it mean? I did enjoy the experience of standing with Philip and loved his thick corduroy trousers. I still haven't changed my view. Corduroy, it's so manly. I love it. The exact photo of this hasn't been kept, but I do have a photo of Philip with the photographer's camera pretending to be taking a photo of me. Yes, recollections of that last term at junior school. It was going to be a big change coming up soon because we were going to move to another part, well, not of town, a different part. We lived in Tottenham, and it was probably a half-an-hour bus ride to get to Southgate, and that's where I was going to move whilst I was still in this class. So I was going to have to get on the bus, and well, it was probably longer than half an hour. It was quite a way then. And then I was going to start a new school in this September. A different area, different school. So big changes coming up. Well, they do when you're 10, don't they? But this made it bigger because we moved house and we moved district. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay then, well that's it for this week. Thank you for joining me, not joining. Thanks for joining me. And I'm going to put up a little film now of our walks along the seashore. They're there and back walk in the first 2 weeks of October it's been, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks very much for joining me and take care. Bye-bye.